أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وعنهم السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة
Alhamdulillah, all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this opportunity to conduct this Quranic Arabic course and also Quranic Arabic and Knowledge Level 5. This is the sixth and the last session, provided if we have enough people, we'll have two additional sessions. Otherwise, this is the last session of this level. Again, I volunteer to recite a short surah.
There's no one, then I don't mind reciting. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى صدق الله العظيم.
صدق الله العظيم. Ahsant. Okay, so we were discussing lesson 22, and lesson 22 was a long lesson. It is number of aspects, and as I said last time that yes, it has some difficult aspects, but we are covering this lesson simply because our author of the text has included this lesson in Unit 1 because it has more to do with noun than verbs. There is something to do about verb. For example, when we talk about object, then the verb is involved. So she has given 8 different causes where noun can become accusative. The first one was when it's la, which indicates a total absolute negation, like no la ikrah fit din or la ilaha illallah. Second was when a noun follows illa, exception to a positive action. For example, fasajadu illa iblisa, all of them did sajda except iblis. So iblisa has, you can see, accusative, right? This illa is known as istisna, that means exception. Then of course there is the ya nida. No, ya nida, for example, we say Abu Abdullah, but when we say Assalamu alaikum Abu Abdullah, Assalamu alaikum Rasulullah. But when we want to call him, we say Assalamu alayka ya Rasulullah. Usually it will be Assalamu alaikum Rasulullah, Assalamu alaikum Nu, Assalamu alaikum Abu Abdullah. But the moment you put ya there as a calling, then it's Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah. So this is ya, and this has to follow a possessive phrase. Now, for example, if we say no, ya Nuhu, then of course it will still be ya Nuhu. It won't be ya Nuhan because it is not a possessive phrase, it's just a noun. Only ya, which is followed by a possessive phrase, then becomes accusative. And then of course we also looked at nouns, which we discussed this thing quite earlier. Inna, but besides inna, also anna, lakinna, la'alla. All in this case, it will bring about possessive, not accusative, right? We discussed this thing, and then all the objects, right? When the moment object is there. So I gave you the best example. Do you remember the example? Remember easily about subject and object? What was the example I gave you about subject and object? A simple example which you can never forget.
معبود and عبد.
Ahsant, yeah. Abdun is the one who Abdun is a servant. Abid is the one he serves when he does the ibadat. And Ma'bud is the one whose ibadat we do. So Abdun is a subject or a servant, but Abid is one who is worshipping, right? And Ma'bud is the one who's worshipped. So as I said, Allah is not a body, not an object, but grammatically, He is the object of worship because we worship. So Ma'bud. So once you remember Abid and Ma'bud, so you remember what is fa'il and maf'ul. Fa'il and maf'ul will come all the time. So fa'il is subject and maf'ul is object, and object is always accusative. But within object, there are 5 kind of objects, which you don't need to know the names, but they're all object. No? So direct object, absolute object, object of time and place, object for expressing aim, object for denoting meaning with. No. So, and they're given all the names, for example, no, maf'ulun bi, and then no, what maf'ulun mutlaq, maf'ulun fi, maf'ulun ma, right, and maf'ulun la, right, all these things. But you don't need to know these names as long as you know that they are all object, no, and they will always be, because the object will always be accusative, right? So, for example, here we said object for time and place, right? So here is, for example, time. Laylan, Naharan, Yawman, Masa'an. Places, for example, Fawqa, Tahta, Inda, Lada, Amama, Rara, all these indicating, for example, is what uh, space. No? So this also brings about accusative. And then, of course, we didn't have time, but very quickly, these also, they don't come out, but for example, circumstance, hal. No, uska hal kya hai? We see also Urdu mein iska hal, that is circumstance or state, right? So when you discuss about hal, state, that also will be what accusative. Tamiz, when you specify something, no? Examples are there in our books. We have given you page number, also all those things. And then kana. Now, kana is, we'll come to it again, because kana is a verb. But the predicate of kana, remember we said when we did the lesson number, I think 13 or 12, we were discussing about nominal sentence. So in nominal sentence, we have got mubtada and khabar, subject and predicate. So the predicate of kana will also take an accusative. So this was lesson 22. Now let us look at the homework. Okay. Anybody like to answer?
Yeah, when you ask us to highlight the nouns,
Yes, the accusative, yeah.
so
Those highlight the nouns in accusative case.
yeah, the highlighting was easy because of where you see a fatha, like zilzala. In the for inna zulzilatul ardu zilzala. Ha is a attached pronoun. Wa akhrajatil ardu askala. So that's the
Okay.
askala is an accusative.
Okay.
Zilzala is an accusative. In the third verse, I couldn't find any accusative noun there.
Yeah, okay. The fourth verse.
Fourth one was akhbara.
Okay. Fifth verse.
Fifth, I couldn't see there. I don't know.
Rabba.
Rabba. Okay, beyond
Rabba. That's accusative, right?
Yeah.
Rabba is accusative.
Yeah, her Lord. Yeah, her. This.
And
Okay.
then sixth verse.
Ashtata.
Ashtatan.
Yeah, Ashtatan. Then mithqalan.
What about amala?
Yeah,
Amala.
Yes, amala.
And
Then
mithqalan.
mithqalan and khayra.
Mithqalan. Khayran.
The eighth one also.
Mithqala and sharran. Good, yeah. So these are all accusative. So that was, you just supposed to, highlight them. Anybody's question regarding number 1? These are all accusative.
So, Sheikh Sahib, on the third one, Wakal al insanu malaha, there is no.
No, there's no, because that's a wakal insanu ma laha. That's a question. What does it have? Ma laha.
Okay.
Ma means
what is the matter? What?
Earthquake, and when things start coming out of earth, people will be shocked. Say, what is happening? Oh no, what's happening to this earth? No.
Yeah.
So my internet says unstable. So in case if you see me cutting off, you know that okay, now it's okay, fine. Any other question regarding number 1? Question number 1? Is it clear that no?
No, Hussein, but I do have a question.
Bismillah.
So zilzalaha. So the
Yeah.
whole thing is an accusative noun, right? Because that's a pronoun. So
Just
both
the
of
noun, right? We are talking the accusative of the noun. So zilzala is a noun.
Okay, but ha is a pronoun, right?
Yeah.
So shouldn't that be also the whole thing is the accusative, right?
No,
Zilzalaha.
Ha is a pronoun. We say that these rules apply to the nouns. Now,
Okay.
highlight the nouns in accusative case, right?
Mhm.
Ha is, even if is accusative or not, will not be impacted. Remember, we said that no, pronouns don't get impacted. Our question is that no, these nouns or default is nominative but becomes accusative on account of certain reasons. And those 8 reasons we covered in lesson 22.
Okay.
So ha is just no attachment to it. No, it will not impact me. It's not our no. It's not our topic of discussion. Our discussion is just nouns. So zilzala, askala, amala, right? These are all nouns, but of course it has been attached to a pronoun because it's talking about, for example, no, the is earthquake, zilzala, askala, is weight, or amalum, their deeds. But amala is a noun which has become accusative on account of certain reasons will come. Okay, so that was highlighting. Now, second comes what has made these nouns into accusative case. What's the reason? Why they become, as I told you, always default, keep in mind, default is always nominative, okay? Default is nominative. So what has brought them about into accusative? So all these what we have highlighted, except for verse number 5, everything is one or other case of object. Is all to the called object. So for example, Bismillah ar-Rahman is always good to keep the translation in front of you. It will give an idea. إِذَا زُلْزِلَتِ الْأَرْضُ زِلْزَالَهَا. Anybody knows the translation of this verse? Or you can also open the Quran and tell me. What does the translation says?
So then the earthquake of the earth
Yeah, when the earth
when
is going,
will quake it.
yeah, is going to quake. That means when earth is going to quake, that means zilzalaha. So when the when the earth is going to quake is an earthquake. So zulzila is a zulzila. The zulzila is a verb. Zulzila is a verb. No, of course, this earth is an object, but this is we'll come to it later on. It is because this is known as what passive or what object? No, passive what passive verb, passive or subject. Sorry, passive subject. So that's why it is no like the Urdu. Zilzat Urdu zilzalaha. So this is on account of zilzala is describing. Remember we said tamiz here. See that when it specifies what kind of things happen, tamiz specification. So here it says the earth is going to there's going to be earthquake, but what kind of earthquake? Zilzala, a big quaking of it. It's not just that is there to be earth, but earth which will be felt in the entire universe. Sometimes an earthquake takes place, for example, even in a country, only one city or one area, one village, one locality will feel it, right? No, this is describing how the earth will quake, zilzala, a big quaking. So it is specifying that kind of earthquake. No? And then, وَخَرَجَ الْأَرْضُ, an earth is going to take out. What? Now take out askalaha. It's telling us what, no? So because object is what, no? So what will it take out? Is askal, is weight, is precious things, no? Things which are hidden in the earth, people have hidden will come out. Or for example, even things which are there. وَأَخْرَجَ الْأَرْضُ أَثْقَالَهَا. No. So it is, all these are because of object. If you see there are some kind of objects whereby it has become accusative all in this case, because you'll find before all this there is a verb. So for example, zulzila is verb, akhraja is verb, okay, and then for example this what tuhaddisu is a verb, tuhaddisu is a verb, you know, and then yasduru, yasduru is a verb, okay, you'll find, and then ya'mal is a verb, again ya'mal is a verb. So always you'll find that the following after a verb it is an object. So in all these cases, because of object, some kind of object is there. That's why these are all accusative, except for number 5. بِأَنَّ رَبَّكَ أَوْحَى لَهَا. So this Rabba is accusative because of
the noun.
Because of
Inna.
Anna, right? We said earlier that first when we did earlier in the class, quite earlier we said inna, but then in this particular class we also say that not only inna but also inna, anna, and also right here. You see, it is inna, anna, lakinna, la'alla, right? So in this case, bi anna rabbaka awha laha, so it is because anna. Yeah. So this is because of anna. So all this, everything is because of objects. Some kind of object is there, one of the five, and this is what is because of anna. So these are the causes why it brought about. No.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
أخبارها,
Yes.
is that because of time? Object of time, because at the beginning of the verse it says يومئذ.
يومئذ تحدث أخبارها.
Is it because for time?
Is it object of time?
Yeah.
No, it's not time. Time is we just now we gave you example of time, right? We gave the example of time is what Laylan, Naharan, Yawman, Masa'an, right? So this is not time. This is actually just object. That what is it going to? Is answering the question. What is going to talk about? Yawmazin tuhaddisu. On that day.
Case one, the object for case one.
Yeah, it's object. Yeah, it's direct object. Akhbaraha.
Direct object.
Yes,
I saw the word yom. I saw
Yom.
the yom.
Yeah.
That was also part of that time. So I thought maybe it's because of that.
Well, this yoma is in, I wanted to bring a separate slide on this. I did not even put in the question because this yoma is in the tricky word. You know, it comes 70 times in the Quran, but it is a tricky word. So I didn't bring it. I don't want to confuse about it, but maybe we'll cover later on. No. Yoma is on its own and different. No, this is on that day. So this is the time, but on that day, the earth is going to, talk or discuss about its news. No, so it's going to give its news. On that day, the earth is going to going to inform its news. So akhbar is an object. Okay, and this, of course, these are miskal also is object, but khayran, this is a description. So miskal dharratin khayran yara, miskal azan sharran yara. So it is miskal, but also you'll find that it is khayran, sharran. Now this is describing more. No, but actually this is object, and this follows it. Miskal dharratin khayran yara. And of course, this yara, what this yara is a verb, which we are not quite yet, and because of that, this case before that, khayran yara, they'll see it. But in all these cases, because of object. At this moment in time, if you understand some of the concept, fine, but this is, you can see these are all because of object. Now, the last one, I don't know if anybody got the answer to that. No. Zulzilatin akhrajati. Did anybody know this answer? We have covered this thing, but I hope that somebody will remember it.
I don't know, Sheikh sir. I was thinking that these are all not genitive now. Zulzilati.
Yeah.
All
Why is it genitive?
because of ida?
No. Anybody remembers this thing? See, it was a tricky question, but I thought that you would remember what we had covered earlier, right? Early in this course, we discussed about iltika as-sakinain. Do you remember the word iltika as-sakinain?
Yes.
Means meeting of two sakin. We have done this. So Sabara, in fact, we have done this thing a lot of time. When two sakins meet, then, for example, we say Manittabal Ladina. No? So what happens that if there are two sakin, then it is difficult to pronounce two sakin. So the first sakin will take a vowel sign. So the original was Idha Zulzila. Zulzila means earthquake. Zulzilat is, it quacks, but this is a feminine, Zulzilat. Qala, he said. Qalat means what? Qalat, she said, right? For example, today we attended a Mayyat, Namaz Mayyat this afternoon after Namaz Maghrib Zohrain. A young girl of 30 years old, she died. young girls, Sayyida, and she also is a young child. So in the namaz will say that Allahumma inna hadha inna hadha Allahumma inna hadhi amatuka nazarat bika wa anta khairu manzili. Allahumma inna hadhi amatuka. Oh Allah, this is your maid servant. Amatuka. Nazarat bika. Nazarat bika, that means now she has become your guest. Nazala is he. He has become your guest. But when you say, I want you as a students of Arabic, pay attention. Nazalat bika. She has come to you. Because now, because the mayyat was a woman, you have to say, Allahumma inna hadihi, feminine, right? Inna hadihi amatuka. Wabnatu abdika. Right? Nazalat bika, wa anta khayru unzulim biha. No. So nazalat bika. If it was a man, you say, Allahumma inna hadha abduka, wabnu abdika, wabnu amatika, nazala bika. You see? So, Kala is he said. Kalat is she said. Okay, Kalat. You might also say in Quran, maybe Kalat is there, if you can check it now. Kalat should be there in Quran. So, Nazal, Zulzilat is, it is the verb, Zulzilat. There was Ta Sakin here. Zulzilat. Why? Because earth is what? Feminine, right? We did this thing. Earth is feminine. So, Iza Zulzilat al-ardu. When the earth is going to quake. Okay, Zulzilat. So, it was Zulzilat. But Zulzilat has a sakin, and also al-earth, here lam also has a sakin. Do you see? So, when there are two sakin meeting, okay, it's difficult to pronounce. So, what they say, to make it easier, the first sakin will take a vowel sign. So it became Iza Zulzilatil Ardu Zilzalaha. Do you see? And we have done this thing. I forget that we are forgetting. No, the word iltika as sakinin. Lika means to meet. Iltika as sakin, when two sakins meet, then the first sakin will take a vowel sign. Because it's difficult to pronounce two with sakin. And this is quite often in the Quran. I'll show you. It's only that I want you to get observed. So, for example, let's go to Surah Yasin, okay? Let's open Surah Yasin. You'll find that it is there. Number of places is there. And this is a tajweed rule. It's not a grammatical. This is a tajweed rule. What we are doing is tajweed rule. So let's go, for example, to Surah Yasin. Okay. Let me see if I can get something whereby this is there.
What about Wal Quran al Hakim?
Well, no. Well, that was there, but the Quran Hakim is there. Oh, no, because Nun already is a kasra because of wow. No. Min or man always will have, for example, sometimes min becomes mina and man becomes mana. That's what I'm trying to find. Okay. So, if you see ayat number 26, قِيلَ ادْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ قِيلَ ادْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ. Okay. The original was Qila, he was told udkhul, because usually the command he has always sakin, udkhul. For example, kul, right? Say kul huwallahu ahad, kul, right? So kul huwallahu ahad. So but here it is, here it is, qila dkhulil jannah. Do you see that lam has a kasra? The original was sakin. But the second Khul Jannah, because lam had a sakin original, and then also al Jannah, also lam another al Jannah lam is but both lam has sakin, so it is difficult to pronounce that lam. So we say Qilad Khul Jannah, Qilad Khul Jannah. You see, it appears a lot in Dua Sabah, and people make mistake. So let me, for example, show you. Let's go to Surah number 3, because this ayat comes. Surah number 3, ayat number 26, 27. If you go, these are known as ayatul mulk. Okay, so let's look at ayatul mulk. You'll find it there, and people make this mistake a lot. When the people recite Dua Sabah, they make this mistake. So if you see, for example, right, ayat number 26, all of you know, right? Kul means what? Is a command, say, right? Kul huwallahu ahad, right? But here you can see, here it is says, if you see ayat number 26, Kulillahumma malikil mulk. Are you there? Do you say, it was Kul Allahumma malikil mulk. Say, it was Kul Allahumma malikil mulk. So because the first alif, of course, is a silent, then comes lam sakin, because of shadda, kulillahumma. So because it is difficult to pronounce two lam, Kul has become Kuli. Do you see? Kulillahumma malikil mulk. Kulillahumma. So when two sakins meet, the first sakin will take a kasra and then join. Okay, so it was zulzilat, became zulzilati. It was akhrajat, became akhrajati. Because the verb was akhraja. Akhraja means to take out. Akhraja. For example, sometimes a person who vomits and takes out the food, akhraja, akhraja akalo, right? That whatever he ate, because he was sick, it came out, right? So akhraja is to take it out, or to vomit. So because akhrajat, because earth is a what feminine. So we say akhrajat al-ardu askalaha. Zulzilat al-ardu zilzalaha. But because there was sakin on ta, and sakin on ta, and then sakin again on lam, both are these sakin, the first one will take a kasra. So that is how it was. It was not on account of it was not on account of what preposition, nor was on account of mudaf ilayh. Okay, this is purely a tajweed rule. It's not a grammatical rule. It's a tajweed rule. That when two sakins meet, then it is difficult to pronounce. The first sakin will take a kasra. So I gave you example, Qilat Kul Jannah, Qulillahumma malikul mulk, okay? And there are so many other examples you'll find. Minal ladhina, for example, just sometimes you find in the Quran, Minal ladhina, from those who. It originally was min, from al ladhina. But because min has a sakin, and al ladhina also sakin, so Minal ladhina. So that was a tricky question, but I was hoping that you remember this rule. So I'll put an answer very in detail. Here it is. It says that, for example, the first two words, zulzilat and ukhrijat, had sakin on the last letter of ta, indicating feminine verb acting on the word al-earth. Right? They changed to kasra because the next letter also has a sakin. Since it is difficult to pronounce sakin on two consecutive letters, the first letter takes kasra. This is the rule of iltika al-sakinain, the meeting of two sakins. Okay? So this was. Of course, what about zarratin and zarratin? Why it is kasra?
Mudaf ilayh, because of mudaf.
Yeah, it's mudaf ilayh. Miskala zarratin. No, miskala, the weight of an atom. Miskala zarratin, okay, the weight of an atom. So it is mudaf ilayh. No? وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا. The one who is going to do an atom good, like good, it shall be seen. And the one who does an atom good or bad, shall be seen. Never undermine any good act, and never undermine any bad act. Shar is shar, khair is khair. Sometimes people say, oh, this is just a small joke. This is just a small thing. Oh, I just, for example, took away, I take away, for example, your pen or your eraser without asking you. And then I ask you, why did you do that? You say, oh, it's just a pen. It's just an eraser. What's the big deal? It's not a question of big deal. it is your property how to ask you. Yeah, if it is urgent and I had to use it and then I hope in intending that I'll ask you later on, is a different thing. But the rule does not ban, right? So it says, Allah says, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. On that day, person who has done an atom like good shall be seen, and the person who has an atom like bad shall be seen. It's a very powerful ayat of Quran. None of our actions will be overlooked on that day. No. So it was a good exercise, but I just thought that no, instead of giving ayat, I give you a surah, and this surah also is a powerful surah. Right? So we now go to lesson number 23. Now, lesson 23 is an extension of what we did, except that now we are not doing accusatory, we are just doing general Arab. Okay? So what is Arab? Arab is the phenomena of word declination. Declination, that means you change. Now, when you change, in Arabic language. No? So word of declination, when you change the last letter on a word is not declination. Declination refers to the change in variation in the form of a word. And through this change in variation, we understand the grammatical case of the word by which we get to know the function of the word in the sentence. Because it is important sometimes the function of the verb is known because of declination. As we said, no, subject is always nominative and object is always accusative, right? So for example, we say, Warisa, Sulaiman Davuda. No. So Warisa Sulaiman Davuda. 3 words. Warisa means to inherit. Warso, right? Warisa. Sulaimanu Davuda. If we say Sulaiman Dawood, that means Sulaiman inherited Dawood. But if we say, what is a Sulaiman Dawudu, that means Dawood inherited was Sulaiman. Do you see? In other words, and of course, that's not possible because Dawood is a father and Sulaiman is a son. But yeah, if sometimes the son predeceases the father and he does not have children, then of course his father is going to inherit, right? Yeah, the son. So you can see, but what is Sulaimanu Dawuda? So if you say Sulaimanu, that means Sulaiman is the one who is inheriting. Dawood is the one who's been inherited. So Dawood is an object and Sulaiman is a subject. But if you say, well, what is Sulaimana Dawudu, that means Sulaiman is now an object and Dawood is a subject. Dawood is the one who's inheriting from Sulaiman. Okay, so that's why it says that through this changed version, we understand the grammatical case of the word by which we get to know the function of the word in that sentence. No? So notice how nu changes in these verses. Okay. وَنَادَى نُوحٌ رَبَّهُ فَقَالَ رَبِّ إِنَّ ابْنَ ابْنِي مِنْ أَهْلِي وَإِنَّ وَعْدَكَ الْحَقُّ وَأَنْتَ أَحْكَمُ الْحَاكِمِينَ. So here Nuhun, why it is nominative?
He's the doer.
Sorry, because?
He's doing the action.
So he's the subject, right? وَنَادَى نُوحٌ. So Dawood, Nuh is the subject. He is the one who is doing that. وَنَادَى نُوحٌ رَبَّهُ. Nuh called out to his Lord. So Nuh is a subject. And subject is always nominative, right? So وَنَاهَا نُوحٌ رَبَّهُ. And you can see Rabba. Do you see Rabba here? What is Rabba? Accusative or nominative? What is Rabba?
Accusative?
Rabba is which case?
Accusative?
Accusative. Why?
Well, it's simple. It's got a fatha on it.
Yeah, but why it is accusative?
Object.
It's the object.
Yeah, simple as that. Nuh called out to his Lord. So Nuh is the one who is the subject, calling out is the verb, and whom is he calling? Allah, right? So وَنَادَى نُوحٌ رَبَّهُ. Of course, don't forget about this ru. Who is a pronoun, right? So just who is just pronoun. This is a compound word, رَبَّهُ. So وَنَادَى نُوحُ رَبَّهُ. So nada is a verb. Nida, to call out. Nada. Nada Nuhun. Nuhun is a subject calling out. So he's a nominative. Rabbahu. You can see Rabbahu. His Lord. Fakala Rabbi. Of course, this Rabbi means what? What is the meaning of Rabbi here?
My Lord.
My Lord.
My Lord, yeah. How do we know my Lord? Because of Kasra here. You see? This Kasra is indication of Ya Sakin. Fakala Rabbi. Oh my Lord. The way we say the Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi, Ya Rabbi. So this is it. No. Fakala Rabbi. Innabni. Innabni. You see? So now this is, of course, this is a trick. We will not come into this, how Ibn became Ibn Min Ahli. My son is from my family. Min Ahli. So min here is a preposition. Ahli, you can see Ahli, la is a kasra. Okay. This ya sakin is, of course, a pronoun. Min Ahli. Inna wa'adaka. Do you see? What is inna? You can see inna will bring about what? Accusative, right? So inna wa'ada. Do you see what is wa'ada? What is the meaning of wa'ada?
Promise.
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 Promise, right? Wa'ada. So wa inna wa'ada. So you can see inna has brought about accusative. Wa inna wa'ada. Again, this ka is a preposition. So don't forget about this ka preposition. Sorry, it's a pronoun. Pronouns don't change, okay? Pronouns don't change on account of prepositions. Pronouns remain as it is. No? So wa inna wa'adaka al-haqqu wa anta ahkamul hakimin. Right? Kad arsalna Nuhan. Indeed, we sent Nuhan. Now, why is Nuhan accusative here?
Is an object.
It's an object. And who is the subject here?
Us. No. Na.
Us,
God.
yeah, na. So who is na in this case?
Allah.
Of course, Allah, but in Quran sometimes uses also, for Allah, Allah also uses what plural, plural, right? Case. And we have discussed this thing. What are the two reasons that Allah uses plural for himself?
Because him and his angel.
Yeah, it could be him and his angels. And what the other reason? Majesty, right? You'll find, for example, king or the queen will say we, will not say I, right? So it's the power of majesty. Allah is majestic. No? So inna arsalna, we have sent. So arsala is a verb, arsalna is a subject. We have sent. Nuhan. So now who is being sent? Nu. So now nu becomes what? An object. Right? There is a subject, there is a verb, and object. Always in a verb you should know this thing. So arsala is to send. For example, Rasul is not Rasul because he's been sent, messenger, no? He has been sent out. Indeed, arsalna, we have sent Nuhan. So na here is a subject, referring to Allah, okay, the majesty. Nuhan. So nu here is an object. That is why it is Nuhan. Right? And we always say that if you put fataten, there is always it will be followed by alif. Except in which case? When you don't need when you don't need alif after fataten?
When it's a Hamza,
Hamza. Yes, Hamza. Or when do you don't need alif after fataten? We tend to forget very clearly. Is ta marbuta, okay? Ta marbuta does not need alif. If you find fataten on ta marbuta, then there is no fatah. Otherwise, every other letter has a fatah. So Nuhan. It was Nuhan, we just add alif, Nuhan. Ila qawmihi, to his community. What is ila here?
Preposition.
Preposition. What does it preposition do?
Genitive.
So what is the genitive here?
Qawmi.
Qawmi, asan.
Qawmi.
You see? So ila is a preposition. It brings about genitive to the noun. And here is qawmi. Of course, he is a pronoun which we already discussed, right? Remember we said who becomes he. When does who becomes he? When does who become he?
Feminine.
Genitive, no? No.
No, no. When does who becomes he? I told you, pronouns don't change because of no preposition. Pronouns remain same except who becomes he because of what? Two reasons. If
Feminine.
before that there is a kasra or there is ya sakin, alayhi. Alayhi means what? Upon him, right? So it was Allah who upon him. No, peace be upon him. For example, we say Assalamu Allahu. That was the original. Assalamu, peace, Allahu. But Allah, no, when change, when Allah is when who is prefixed to Allah is joined to Allah, that Allah what alif maksura becomes ya, number one, and then because of ya, that who becomes he. So alayhi. We have done this thing long ago when we did lesson 3 or 2 on pronoun. At that time we did this thing. Okay. So Nuhan ila qawmihi. So because ila is a preposition, it brings our qawmi, and now qawmi, original was qawmuhu, his community. Qawmu was the original. Okay. Ila brought about qawmi, and qawmi become qawmihi. Okay. Inna awhayna ilayka kama awhayna ila nuhin. What is ila? Preposition. So nu becomes what? Genitive.
Genitive.
You see? So sometimes nu is nominative, sometimes it is what accusative, and sometimes it is genitive. So here it is nominative because it is subject. Here it is accusative because it is object. Here it is genitive because it follows a preposition. Do you understand? So these are, you can see how things change it, right? Because of what, depending what is there. So, and of course, you'll see in the next lesson that this only happens to those words which can change all the Arab. Some words don't change, but those which can change, this is it. And the reason that some words don't change because the original is not Arabic. Nu, Muhammad, no Saleh, no Hud. These are word from Arabic word. Anybody knows what is the nu? From which word is nu coming from?
Cry.
Is it wahi? Wahi?
Something with
No.
water? Something with water?
Water? No.
cry.
Anybody? Sorry?
Nuhan is from crying.
Yeah. No. Crying. He cried, right? So no. For example, the word nauha, right? Nauha. Same root word, nauha. When we recite Nauha, we actually, discussing about the events of Kabbalah and we are crying, right? Nauha. So no, naha, no, the one who cried, no. So nu is an Arabic word. Hud comes from which word? Hidayah, right? Guidance, Hud. Muhammad comes from which word?
Hamd.
Paste.
Hamd, yeah, Hamida.
Hamd.
No? The one who is often praised, Muhammadan. Muhammad is not Muhammad because often always praised, Muhammad, no? A lot to praise. So the word which are from Arabic root, they will change to what nominative, accusative, genitive. The word which are not Arabic original, you'll find that they don't always change. They remain or they change slightly. No? Okay. So we come to other example. Okay. So I'll give you the other example here. So here it is. Wakalu ya salihu. Right? And they said ya salihu. What is this? Salihu. Which case is this?
Nominative.
Nominative. Why it is nominative?
The subject.
Subject.
But this is after the word ya, so should it not be accusative?
Oh, it had to be
Mr. Sabara, you are forgetting it so fast. What did we say just earlier?
Proper name.
That ya will only become accusative if it is a possessive verb.
Okay.
Right? Saleh is not a possessive phrase. It's a proper name. I said, ya Muhammadu, ya Aliyun, right? We don't say ya Aliyan. Ya Aliyun. So, ya Salihu, yeah. That is ya is because we are calling him. So it is just nominated, ya Salihu. Ya Salihu, itina bima ta'taiduna in kunta min al-mursaleen. No. إِلَى ثَمُودَ أَخَاهُمْ صَالِحًا. وَإِلَى, and to Thamud. What is Thamud? Anybody knows what is Thamud here?
It's the subject.
Subject.
No, but okay. What the meaning of what's the meaning of Samud? What does it refer to? Samud.
The tribe. It's a
The
tribe.
Tribe. Okay.
Tribe.
Yeah, it's a tribe. So you can see Ila Samuda. It's not Samudi. Do you see this thing? Ila is what? Is a preposition.
Position.
It should become Samudi, right?
Mhm.
But it's Samuda. Why? So this is the case of a noun which does not always change. We'll come to this next lesson, lesson 23, 24. No, so these are unchangeable now. No, so Samud, of course, Samud is the name of the tribe, which does not come from Arabic because this existed before the time of the Prophet. Okay, and then of course, what Samud, it refers to a tribe. No, so it's a foreign word. Samud is not an Arabic word. It's found in Quran because it's discussing about that particular what. Area or that tribe. No? So ila Thamuda akhahum salihan. And we sent, because it is a Barakalu arsalna, right? Mursalin. No? So, and to people of Thamud, we sent akhahum, their brother, salihan. So your salihan is an object. No? So we, to people of Thamud, we sent their brother salihan. Okay. مثل ما أصاب قوم نوح. You see, can you tell me why Nuhin here is kasraten, why it is genitive?
The Qawm of Nuh. So it's
It's
So what
idafa,
is the
right?
reason?
It's
Mudaf,
idafa.
Mudaf ilayh.
Mudaf ilayh, ahsant. Qawma Nuhin, mudaf ilayh. Community of Nuh. You see, Qawma Nuhin. Do you see? So because of mudaf ilayh, Qawma Nuhin. No. Oh no. Oh, Qawma Hudin. Do you see? So again, Hudin. Same reason. Qawma Hunuhin or Qawma Hudin. You see? So this is also what? Genitive. Qawma Hudin. Or Qawma Salihin, right? So, Mislu Asaba. Now Allah is telling us, Mislu Ma Asaba. No, similar to what happened to, what took place with the community, because these are the Qawm Allah is talking about, that, some of the communities, if you disobey, then the outcome that will be punished. Mislu, similar to Ma Asaba, the way what happened to Qawma Nuhin, or Qawma Hudin, or Qawma Salih, right? The way it happened to people of Nuh, people of Hud, and people of Saleh. But all this came, is you can see, is genitive because of mudaf ilayh. Qawma Nuhin, or Qawma Hudin, or Qawma Salihin. These are all genitive, right? وَإِلَىٰ عَادٍ أَخَاهُمْ هُودًا, again, like the way here it is. وَإِلَىٰ ثَمُودَ أَخَاهُمْ صَالِحًا, in the same way. وَإِلَىٰ عَادٍ أَخَاهُمْ. So Samud is you can see this did not change, but Adin changed. See? So Adin it did change because of Ilah, but Samud did not change. So Adin is a changeable noun, but Samud is not. وَإِلَىٰ عَادٍ أَخَاهُمْ هُودًا. But our discussion is not all these verses. Our discussion is just that certain, you can see Nuhun, Nuhin, Nuhan, Salihu, Salihan, Salihin, Hudin, Hudan, Hudu. You see? So it's sometimes genitive, sometimes it is accusative, sometimes it is nominative. You should know why it is. No? So why it is, for example, genitive, why it is accusative, why it is nominative. So these are some of the examples, right? And then also I have given you the next slide, something which we all the time know what you use, right? For example, if we take the Prophet Muhammad, we have given an example. Muhammadur Rasulullah. وَالَّذِينَ مَعَهُ أَشِدَّاءُ عَلَى الْكُفَّارِ رُحَمَاءُ بَيْنَهُم. This is ayat of Quran, Surah 48 and 9. So you should also know that La ilaha illallah is part of Quran, which we did earlier, right? When we discussed about La. Now Muhammad Rasulullah also is there in Quran, okay? Muhammadur Rasulullah. Do you see this Muhammad Rasulullah? What is this Muhammad Rasulullah? Muhammad here is nominative. Muhammad Rasulullah. Muhammad is Messenger of Allah. So this is a nominative sentence whereby Muhammad is the subject and Rasulullah is a predicate. Muhammad is who? Muhammad is Rasulullah. So subject is we discussed, and Rasulullah is here predicate. Predicate, it gives the information. Mubtada and khabar. Khabar, for example, it gives information. So who is Muhammad? Muhammad Rasulullah. Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is nominative. Then he says, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I bear witness that Muhammad is Rasulullah. So anna brings about what? Muhammadan, accusative. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin. Because of Allah, becomes Muhammadin. So sometimes it is Muhammadun, sometimes it's Muhammadan, sometimes Muhammadin. Okay? So this is nominative, this is accusative, this is genitive. Okay? But now we go to next lesson. Okay? We have about 5, 6, 7 minutes, so we'll start this. So this lesson is about Mabni, Mabni and Mu'arrab. Mabni, that means something which is, fixed. Mabni nouns are those which are not influenced by the word or situation. They remain as it is. Whether before that there is ba, preposition, whether it is mudaf ilay, whether there is anna, whether there is, for example, object, it will still remain. There are certain nouns Mabni. So Mabni nouns are those which are not influenced by any word situation. They remain unchangeable in all circumstances. They don't change. Examples of few Mabni nouns appear in the table on page 76. Now, so if you open our book here, all right, if you open our book and if you go to page 76, see there's a table there, right? Huwa, hum, dhalika, ulaika, alladhi, allati, Musa, and Isa. All these are words which don't change. Even before that, if there is inna or anna or preposition, it will remain isi. So huwa always remains huwa. Hum remains hum. Dhalika remains dhalika. Ulaika, they don't change. Okay? And then the example here. وَكَفَّيْنَا عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ بِعِيسَى ابْنِ مَرْيَمَ. So you see, وَكَفَّيْنَا عَلَىٰ آثَارِهِمْ بِعِيسَى. Do you see this B? What is this B?
With
Preposition, yes, B is a preposition. But we don't say BEC, we still say BESA. You see? BESA. Of course, here, Isa ibn Maryam is there because there is Ba Sakin, so that, long vowel changes. Isa ibn Maryam. No? Isa ibn Maryam. But you can see, it does not change because of Ba. Or for example, قال أتستبدلون الذين هو أدنى بالذي هو خير. So B is a preposition, but still بالذي. No, it does not change. Of course, original was الذي, but it still remains بالذي. Does not change. So despite preceded by preposition B, the words Isa and Ali do not get affected and remain unchanged. So these are known as mabni. So keep in mind that there are certain words which don't change on account of preposition or other reasons. Then comes mu'arrab. Mu'arrab are those nouns which change. And again, mu'arrab, there are two. One is munsarif, fully changeable. Other is ghair munsarif, partly changeable. So fully munsarif, fully changeable, or partly. So for example, the words Muhammadun, Salihun, Hudun, we saw all those, right? These are names of prophets, but at the same time, they are all what munsarif. They fully change, depending on the situation, which get influenced by in all situations, right? As we go in. But all diptos are example of ghair munsarif. So those diptos, for example, Adam is a dipto. You see Adam, Fatimata. These are examples of ghair munsarif. They are not formed from Arabic roots. They do not take tanween or kasra. They don't take. So we don't say Fatim, we say Aliyun. We say Muhammadun, but we don't say Fatimatun. We just say Fatim. They don't take tanween, nor do they take kasra. So we say, bi Muhammadin, bi Aliyin. But we say what? Bi Fatimata. We don't say bi Fatimati. Why? Because Fatima is the kind of words which are known as غير منصرف. معرب غير منصرف. These are the words which don't totally change. And one of them is also Adam. So وَلَقَدْ أَهِدْنَا إِلَىٰ آدَمَ مِنْ قَبْلُ فَنَسِيَ أَوْ أَلَمْ نَجْدَ لَهُ. So you can see وَلَقَدْ أَهِدْنَا إِلَىٰ آدَمَ. It is إِلَىٰ, but آدَمَ. It does not say Adami. And of course, Adam comes number of times. You know, give an example, all this. Now, all this, if you see this verses 234, 711, 716, 18, all these verses, if you look at them, the word Adam comes, but still Adam remains Adam. It does not change on account of preposition. It does not. So keep in mind that within the words, there are certain words which change totally, with some which change partially. There are some which does not change at all. Those which does not change are known as mamni. Okay, those which change totally are known as mu'arrab munsarif. It means that which can change is known as munsarif. Those which change partially are mu'arrab, which change partially, so which can change. So these are three kind of words, and that is what this lesson is about. This lesson 24. So this is I've already sent the PowerPoint slides for posting on the website. It should be there, inshallah. Any question? We have 2 minutes still. This is the homework. What we have said, just use color code. That's all. Use this orange, or is it yellow orange? Is this yellow, right? Unchangeable.
Yeah.
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 So you use yellow color for those which are mabni, unchangeable. Use red color for fully changeable, munsarif, and use blue color partial changeable for ghair munsarif. Right? So just take this. First of all, find the pronoun. Okay, Alam is not a pronoun. Tara is not a pronoun. Okay, so we have noun. We are just talking about noun. Keep in mind. No, color code those nouns. Okay, nouns. So Alam is not a noun. Tara is not a noun. Ila is not a noun. Al Malai is a noun. Okay, so Malai, what is it? You know, is it unchangeable, fully changeable, or partial changeable? Malai. Okay, and just now we said, right, that here is this. You can see it. The fully changeable, the partial changeable does not take kasra, nor does it take tanween. Okay, so if you take malai, what is taken? Kasra, right? Malai. So that means this is what? This is fully changeable. In other words, this will be in red color, malai. Min, again, this is a particle, right? It's a preposition, it's a particle. It's not a noun, it's particle. Bani, yeah, this is bani is a noun. So it is a fully changeable or not, you have to see, no? So bani, banu, bana, all, no? Isra'ila. Isra'ila also is a noun. Min ba'di Musa. Okay, so see if you can try and just classify in these three classes. No? If you can just put color code to these verses, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 verses. Okay, there are 6 verses here. I've also given the references. The reason of giving references that you can also look at the meaning of them. So you can idea in case to know what is a noun there. Okay. So after this, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So on page 76, there's a
Yes.
chart of the
Yes. There's a table there, yes?
words that are not unchangeable.
Yeah, yes.
Obviously this is not all inclusive, right? There are more words than this.
Yeah, of course.
So we would not, how then would we know that something is unchangeable? Just looking kasra and tanween.
Okay, what you can know is that if you, for example, as we saw here, if you know ila samudi, it is ila samuda. To realize immediately the samuda is unchangeable. No, because so when you find that there is a preposition or it's mudaf ilay or inna and still does not change, it gives you an idea that this must be unchangeable, right? Otherwise,
Or
I don't
partially.
see. I don't know if I don't know, or partially, I don't know of any dictionary or no which gives full list of all those words. because Arabic is very rich, How many, remember I told you there are so many words in Arabic, over 12 million, right? So of course, I don't see any place whereby you can have a full list. But of course, as long as the words in the Quran are there, you should realize. So once you come across a word in Quran and you find that there is preposition before that, but still does not take kasra. If you find that there is a mudaf ilayh, still does not take kasra. There is inna before that, does not take kasra. It is an object and does not take, for example, fatah for any reason. We should realize that these are unchangeable words.
Or could also be partially changeable.
Yes, partial changeable. So that will, once you see partial changeable, they will take fatah, they will take tanween. They will take fatah, but they will not take tanween or kasra. Okay.
So Sheikh Sabin, as we have to remember this. There's no.
Yeah, the whole idea here is not the idea that when you are reading the Quran and you come across a noun which you find has not changed because of the rules we have done of preposition, of inna, of mudaf ilayh. Then you pause there and say this must be a word which is either mabni, that means totally not unchangeable, or partially changeable. This is the only thing, right? You don't have to remember all these things, but once you find, because what is it that when our whole course is what? That when we read the Quran, we want to understand it. So you read the Quran and you come across certain words, for example, Adam, right? All this time, how many times we read the Quran and we have seen Adam word. But now we realize that no, it's not only Adam, but Adam is partially unchangeable, right? All this time we have come across Adam, but now we have done a rule which says Ilah is a preposition which brings about what kasra, genitive to the word following that. But Adam did not take Adami, it's Adama. So realize that Adam is maybe partially or totally unchangeable. So we have to see, for example, is it only Adam, or does it also have Adamu somewhere? So if you say, for example, Adam, that means it's partial, right? If you see Adam remains Adam throughout, then it's totally not changeable. So we have to see that in other places, is that Adamu also there or not? No. So yeah, we have to not have to also remember, we just have to know that sometimes if you find that in Quran, a word which does not take Arab, in spite of the rules we have done, it could be because it is either mabni or partial mu'arrab, right? غير منصرف. Yeah. And also, we did very quickly in lesson 23. I want you to also go through it properly, lesson 23. So go through it now, lesson 23. And because it gives, if you see lesson 23, Arab of nouns, it is just a sort of what it says that Arab of Zahid and through words. So you can see Arab sometimes can be there because of what Kasra, Fatah, because of what vowel sound. Sometimes Arab is on account of what harf, right? Example, Muslimina, what Muslimuna. So it is Ya Sakin, Waw Sakin, Muslimaini, Muslimani, Alif and Nam. So these are also Arab. So Arab sometimes is shown through Fatah, Kasra, Dhamma, but sometimes Arab, that is lesson, I'm talking of page 70. If you see page 70 or lesson 3, they tell us that Arab al-Zahir and Arab al-Huruf. Arab al-Zahir, that means which you can see it. So once you see Fatah, Kasra, Dhamma, Fatatain, Tumatain, Kasratain, these are Arab which you can see. Sometimes Arab is not on account of Fatah, Kasra. It is on account of, letters. So Ya Sakin, Nun Fatah. Waw Sakin, Nun Fatah. Ya Sakin, Nun Kasra. Alif, Nun Kasra. So these are Arab of what? Sound plural. So for example, Muslimun, right? So this is Musliman. You'll find that is Arab will be Muslimuna, right? Muslimun, Muslimuna, Muslimun. This is Musliman, right? But if it a sound plural, we say Muslimuna. Muslimuna is nominative. How do we know nominative? Because it's Waw Sakin and Nun Fatah. It's not because of Fatah Kasra. Muslimuna is a nominative because there's Waw Sakin and Nun Kasra. Muslimina is accusative because there is Ya Sakin and Nun Fatah. So what they are trying that you have examples whereby you have Arab through, which you can see through vowel signs, and sometimes Arab through letters. No. Arab by letters, Arab huruf. which we have done already, but this is just putting in a different way. We have covered already this. When you did, for example, sound pool, we have already done this thing, right? So we only have 2 lessons remaining in this unit, and that's why I said if you are interested, I'm ready to give about 2 more sessions at the same time on Tuesdays. So please, if you have 10 people interested, we'll have a class. So I'll ask Hassan what is the outcome of the poll, and you inshallah get an email for that. Otherwise, no, inshallah, we have to then meet after Muharram, and we'll announce the course. Any questions? Any clarifications? I would prefer that we finish this unit. So we'll take 2 sessions. One session we'll do unit lesson 25, 26. And second session we'll do revision of, for example, any questions we have. So at least unit 1 is done. You're done with unit 1. And then, of course, it'll be interesting. Now we'll get into verb, right? Actions, right? Which comes a lot. In Arabic, a verb comes a lot, so verb is there. In fact, the dictionary which I had introduced some years ago, the dictionary first talks about verb. Now, if you see here in the slides when I saw a Quranic dictionary, they talk verb first, no? Because always the root word is always a verb, right? Always a root word in Arabic is a verb. So second unit will be interesting when you get into verb.
Your iPhone now supports blood pressure monitoring.
Okay. So any other questions? So inshallah, either we'll see you next week if we have enough people. Otherwise, we will see you after Muharram and you will get an email and information regarding the next course. But if you have 10 people interested, I don't mind giving my time for next 2 sessions, next 2 Tuesdays. Okay, inshallah. The Tamas dua. We have sorry got a little late. Is the mass time will soon, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.
Ah.